Namasarvebhyaha. Welcome back to the course Fundamentals of Asiddhatva in Paninian Grammar, presented by vyoma-samskrta-pathasala. This is the fourth session of the course. Today we will see the example for Purvatrasiddham, which illustrates the second part, tripadyam purvam prati param shastram asiddham syat. येनाक्षरसमाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः. वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्. As we have seen earlier, there are different sutras which give asiddhatva in Paninian grammar. We have seen the first and the most important sutra, which is Purvatrasiddham. Purvatrasiddham 8-2-1. It divides the Ashtadhyayi into two parts, Sapada Saptadhyayi and Tripadi. And it applies in two ways. Firstly, Sapada Saptadhyayim prati Tripadi asiddha. So section wise, the whole section of Tripadi is asiddha to Sapada Saptadhyayi. We also saw an example for this in lopah. So the yakara lopa carried out by lopah being asiddha to sutras, svarasandhi sutras like guna or vriddhi or savarna dirgha, which are all in the Sapada Saptadhyayi. There is another aspect to Purvatrasiddham. We saw that it is an adhikara sutra. Because it is an adhikara sutra, it repeats at every step. That is, in each sutra of the Tripadi, it goes and says, idam purvatra asiddham, idam purvatra asiddham. So what is the effect of that? Tripadyam api purvam prati param shastram asiddham syat. As we move along the Tripadi, to each sutra, all the later sutras are asiddha. So each sutra of the Tripadi considers itself as the end of Ashtadhyayi. It does not recognize any sutras which come later than itself in the Ashtadhyayi order. So now we will see an example where such asiddhatva is employed to prevent the generation of undesirable forms. So to understand this, we need to briefly understand two sutras. First sutra is nalopah pratipadikantasya. So it is 8-2-7. So it is in the beginning of the Tripadi. Pratipadika samyakam yat padam tadantasya nakarasya lopah syat iti sutrarthaha. So where there is a pada we know suptingantam padam or swadishva sarvanamasthane, etc. So there is pada samya. Along with that, there is the pratipadika samya. So when both of these are applicable to the same particle, pratipadika samyakam yat padam tadantasya nakarasya lopah syat. If there is a nakara at the end of such a pada, it is deleted or elided. So that is the meaning of nalopah pratipadikantasya. We see this sutra applying in a lot of cases. Say for example, Rajan. So there is Rajan Shabda. Supratyaya, that is Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachana. The Pratyaya is deleted. The Rajan, the Akara is also elongated. It gets a Dirgha Adesha. Since the Pratyaya is not there, it is elided. Now this is a pada. By pratyaya lope pratyaya lakshanam, this is a subanta and therefore it is a pada, and it is also a pratipadika. Now at the end of this there is nakara, which is elided by nalopah pratipadikantasya. So we get raja. Similarly in gunin shabda, again there is an upadha dirgha and pratyaya lopa. We have gunin, which is a pratipadika samyakam padam. So tadantasya nakarasya lope guni iti rupam siddhyati. So these are examples, straightforward examples of nalopah pratipadikantasya. So this is the first sutra that we need to know. The second sutra is samyogantasya lopah. This is also in the Tripadi 8 to 23. Now this sutra says samyogantam yat padam tadantasya lopah syat. If there is a pada ending in a sanyoga, sanyoga is a samgya, halonantara sanyoga. So ajbhihi avyavahitaha halaha sanyoga samnyaha bhavanti. Two consonants without a swara in between are called sanyoga. Now, if there is a pada ending in a sanyoga, it is deleted. By alontyasya, the last letter, the last al is deleted. So an example for this sutra we see in abhavan. So bhudhatu, lang lakara, prathama purusha bahuvachana. So jhi is the pratyaya which is replaced by anti. So like bhavanti. So it becomes abhavanti. There is a sutra called itascha which first deletes the ikara. So now we have abhavant. Now this is a pada, this is a tinganta and therefore gets padasamnya by suptingantam padam. At the end of the pada we have the nakara takarayoho sanyogaha. Sanyogantam yat padam tadantasya takarasya lopah syat ityanena takara lope abhavan iti rupam siddhyati. Abhavat abhavatam abhavan. So this is an example of sanyogantasya lopah. We have now individually understood these two sutras. Nalopah pratipadikantasya says if there is a pada which also has pratipadika samya and has nakara at the end, the nakara is deleted. Sanyogantasya lopaha says if there is a pada with a sanyoga at the end, the last letter is deleted. Now we see mahat shabda, right? So mahat shabda, there is supratyaya. There is a numagama, nakara agama there. Ugiracham sarvanamasthane adhatoho. So there is a nakara added as the penultimate letter. We get mahant s. Now the akara is elongated. Santa mahata sanyogasya iti dirghaha. So mahant s. The pratyaya is now deleted by halnyabhyo dirghat sutisya praktam hal. So we get mahant. Okay. Now you have a pada. This is a subanta. Subantatvat padasamnya bhavati. Padasya ante sanyogaha asti. Like in abhavant, in mahant we have a sanyoga. So by sanyogantasya lopaha, we have mahan. The takara is deleted. So we have mahan. Now the question is, can I do nalopah pratipadikantasya? Just like in Rajan, I could delete the nakara and it became Raja. In Mahan, will the nakara be elided to give Maha? Is the question. Now we see the position. Nalopah pratipadikantasya is 8 to 7, whereas sanyogantasya lopaha is 8 to 23. Both of them are in the Tripadi. Tripadyam Purvam prati param shastram asiddham syat. So since 8 to 7 is an earlier sutra, the later sutra sanyogantasya lopaha is asiddha. Because it is asiddha, nalopah pratipadikantasya sees mahant. It does not recognize the lopa of takara. So it thinks that there is a takara. If there is a takara, this sutra cannot operate because there is no nakara at the end. Nalopah pratipadikantasya can operate only if there is a nakara at the end of the pada. So it sees only mahant. It recognizes all operations still there. They are all in the Sapada Saptadhyayi. But within the Tripadi, the later sutra is asiddha. So it does not recognize the talopa. So takara lopa, which is carried out by sanyogantasya lopaha, and therefore it remains as mahan. The point to be noted is the sutra does not recognize, but when you are using, we do recognize that there is a takara lopa. So the form is mahan, mahantau mahantaha, mahat shabdasya prathama vibhaktau ekavachanantam rupam mahan iti. So for us, of course, samyogantasya lopaha is valid. From the point of view of nalopah pratipadikantasya, it is not recognized, and therefore nalopah does not happen. So with this, we have seen examples for both aspects of Purvatrasiddham. Sapada saptadhyayim prati tripani asiddha and tripadyamapi purvam prati param shastram asiddham syat. So in the next session, we will see a few more examples where Purvatrasiddham operates to ensure that the correct forms are generated through the sutras. येनाक्षरसमाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः. वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्.